Hey, what's up, you guys? So, I don't know how much attention you guys may pay to trends regarding sports, but I recently noticed that there's this pattern when it comes to behavior of people who play sports that I simply don't understand. And I will try to make myself as clear as possible on what I'm trying to go over here. But but something I've noticed is, especially with the recent Serena stuff, is that it seems like people take playing a game so seriously. And I guess for me, it's easy to say that because I am not the one who is training endless hours to be good at a sport and be competitive, play in these championships, being seen all over the world and whatnot. But why do people in sports take the games so incredibly seriously? I know it's your career, I know it's how you make your livelihood, but is it really necessary for you to display poor attitudes? And then, of course, with this arena stuff, other incidents were brought up in regards to other folks who have, say, uh, thrown a tantrum or something whenever they were at a game, they got mad at the referee or they were breaking rackets and whatnot. Basically, this overall poor attitude. Again, I don't get it because I'm not a pro athlete. I am not a sports person at all. So maybe I just do not get, I don't have the mind to understand why these people take a game so seriously, especially when you get paid millions on top of millions by getting brand deals to just hit a ball on a court. And I know that it takes intense training to get yourself in shape to be competitive. But seriously, how do people end up with such a terrible attitude? I cannot imagine myself being on the center of a court and not be polite to say, let's stick to tennis since that's what's trending right now. Say the folks who pick up the balls in the field. Why would you not be polite to them? The folks who hand you the towel. Why can you not be polite to them? The referee. If you have a disagreement with them, you can express yourself as in, look, um, it's not fair what you're doing with me because it's not true. I'm not cheating. I'm not paying attention to what someone else is doing. I'm not breaking the rules and whatnot. But if that's your observation and that's what you believe, then okay, I guess I'll have to respect your decision even if I disagree with it. But I would trust that the referees are correct, especially if there are thousands of cameras recording this game. But basically, just the overall negative attitude that some athletes can display. To me, that just makes me curious. What goes through these people's minds to make them lose their stuff, make them lose their composure like that? I'm not a person who loses her cool like that, even if I'm in a competitive setting. So I just want to know what makes pro athletes lose it like that. Is it really that the stress gets to you? Is it the pressure of playing in such a big league and having all eyes upon you? Is it that you have to protect your image above all? And just what is it? Because I cannot imagine myself just being out there and treating people poorly. And even if an injustice is being committed against me, like say I am being penalized for something that I didn't do, I don't like to give an attitude to the person who's damaging me only because I would stand true to myself by displaying a consistently good attitude. Because I also feel like if there is a misunderstanding, people are more willing and more likely to respect you and take you seriously and want to work with you if you display a better attitude, if you cooperate, if you're approachable, if we can talk to you. But But if you're someone who we cannot give any feedback to, then that doesn't really help your cause because you may end up intimidating whomever you're speaking with or whomever is in an authoritative position. But when it comes to Serena stuff, she went out of her way to say that she was being treated unfairly and that she goes through this every single year and that it's an issue, a social issue because she's a woman and whatever. And I'm like, in a sense, the only way that I can justify that is if I think about it from the point of view of judging the umpire guy by his appearance. And what I mean by that is this is an older guy, and it's also a guy, of course. Why is there a male umpire, a male referee in a female game? Why is the referee male? Why is the umpire male? Why are men the ones running the show when it comes to this? So, if we are being fair, I would expect that you would have a female army when it comes to this. And I'm not trying to say that you have to discriminate against um, someone who can fill in that position on the basis of what they are. But it's strange because in my health classes, I was just used to having a female teacher, and we had female teachers for obvious reasons. So when it comes to sports and big games in the professional world, why wouldn't you have a female referee, a female umpire, whatever they're called, whatever they are? Why wouldn't they be female? Because I feel like if her accusations to this guy are true, then what's happening is this is an older guy, and this older guy is used to seeing women being on the, like, what is it called? Submissive role. Like, oh, you're a woman, you cannot talk loud to me, you cannot raise your voice to me, so that's the reason I'm going to penalize you. Because apparently there is a rule in tennis in which you get 3 strikes or something. So, like, after you commit 3 offenses, that's when you either get a point taken away or you get your game canceled altogether. So when you put it like that, then it makes sense that she, I guess, was breaking the rules. She being Serena, she was breaking the rules, so therefore she was getting her own game like forfeited. But at the same time, if you know that as a tennis player, why would you say that there is a conspiracy against you? And I know that on a social level, there is a lot of like talk about how you may be discriminated against for how you look, what your body type is, what your body shape is, what your skin color is, and all that stuff. Basically, social problems just creeping into the sports world. But I don't know. I like to really stay positive when it comes to this because if it was really that much of a difficult uh, what can I say, arena for you to be in, then I don't think you would have made it that far. If people were actively trying to keep you from progressing onto the next level, I think that they would have gotten rid of you a long time ago if it was really about race and your gender and whatnot. But at the same time, because you get people to watch your games and you have an audience and you generate money, that's the reason they keep you. How about if you just remain proud about your athleticism and how you are in such great shape and you know how to play the game, you know you're excellent, you got great skills, but but sometimes the way you present yourself, I guess, it sends the wrong message, like especially when you get mad like that, just don't get mad. There's a lot of stuff that a lot of us out there are going through that we can be mad about. You know, some of us are experiencing things that we have very little say over, but we're not sitting there antagonizing other people. And I get it when something is being done against you that's unfair, you want to get mad. But I guess it's just, I'm so simple and the stuff like that just doesn't bother me, especially when I know it's a game. I'm not saving lives. So if I was losing a life on my hands and it was my responsibility, then I would be mad, like, oh my God, I'm failing. What am I doing? Why am I not saving this person's life? But over a game, and when all the world's cameras are pointed at you, I would think that that's when you would want to behave your greatest. See what I mean? But, anyways, again, I'm not trying to claim expertise on this topic. I don't play any sports. I have never been a part of a team. I really don't care, but because it's all up in my face and it's trending and there are many mixed opinions and I hear many different stories, I thought that I would put my opinion out there and see what you guys have to say. Any of you guys who may keep track of sports and whatnot, feel free to completely educate me on the matter from beginning to end and why, especially the psychological aspect of it, why for competitive people it's such a big deal to have what I, as a third person, perceive as a poor attitude. But, anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. I think I made my point clear, and let's see what you guys are saying. I'm pretty cynical. So, what I want to think is that pro athletes just aren't used to not getting their way. They're worshipped and paid obscene amounts of money for what is a pretty simple skill. Um, you're right about that. I have always wondered why, once people become uh, like famous, it's like you cross a line and then you feel that because you have a lot of money and power and you have resources to make your life simpler. I don't know why you think that just because you're on the like cover of a lot of magazines or you are displayed on many billboards and whatnot that you're entitled to everything. But on the aspect of simple skill, I wouldn't say that playing a game on a professional level is a simple skill, only because that requires a lot of intensive training, countless hours of exercising, nutrition, dieting, and you also have to study your opponents. I would imagine that no two players have the same technique. So when you think about that, it's like, okay, this opponent is going to be different from the one that I played against yesterday because this person may be faster or this person may not be as fast, but they have reach. So that may make it a little tricky when it comes to me, hitting the ball or something. You have to study your opponent. So I wouldn't say that being a pro athlete is that simple of a skill because trust me, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people who try out for this stuff and even if they're super good, they still don't get their place in a professional setting because again, it takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of training, it's time consuming, it's exhausting. You also have to watch out what you eat and as someone who works out and tries to take her shape seriously, I find it fucking difficult and I'm not even trying to compete on anything. So I gotta give them credit on that. If they get paid a lot, you do need to get paid a lot because you will get injured often. And at least in this country, it's very costly to take care of yourself on a medical level. So if you break a bone or something, you need to have money to address that. So in a sense, getting paid an obscene amount of money makes sense because you are physically beating yourself up when you think about it. So I think it's fair that you get paid a lot, but also the level of attention that you gather. You become a celebrity. We need to pay for your security. We need to just look out for you in general. All the little things that being a celebrity, uh, like encompasses. So, do I agree with that type of an income? Not really, because I really wish that their job was more useful. It's just entertainment, but at the same time, I can see why they can get paid a lot and why that's irritating. But when I think about it critically and break it down, it makes a lot of sense. Why they would be deserving of such a high paycheck. And also remember that these people gotta travel too. and traveling is expensive, as you and I know. Which they would have to train for most of their life. In most cases, it's hard to believe they learn coping skills with disappointment. Good point. Kind of seems like a pretty large generalization, Ollie. People are individuals, not groups. It is, I guess. I'm sure in most cases that's not true. I was just spitballing, really. I said that was what I wanted to think. I don't really know. I've been captain of 4 different sports teams, and if anything, the constant struggle for success builds integrity and strength. You can never win if you're never lost and cope to improve. Yeah, when it comes to Serena's case, I think that she needed for this to happen to just okay, you have been the world champion many, many times and you made it to the finals once again, but you cannot be reigning forever. And then this girl is also a pretty young girl, so it's all right. Like I would be proud of losing because I learn much more whenever I am not on top of everything. Like when I'm not successful at everything. Because when you're constantly winning, it's cool to win because it boosts your ego, it boosts your self-esteem and whatever, but you become comfortable. It's like, okay, I did it. I'm at the top. Now what? But when you actually get dethroned from that position, it's quite the humbling experience, I would imagine. But but again, the way that this situation turned out, it almost makes me feel like some people are saying on Twitter, especially about how she's just entitled and spoiled and whatnot. But I don't know. That's up to you guys. On that situation, that's when you can have your individual opinion. And honestly, when I look at it on the grand scheme of things, it's really hard to determine who's completely right and who's completely wrong. But anyways, I'm just here saying that I would not lose my shit over a game. There's a lot of stuff out there that I can just let it not bother me, and there's a few things that I can say that would make me okay, like be like, all right, this is a little too much for me to just be chill about, but just over a game, just take it easy, bro. Also, athletes are the peak of human fitness and awareness. Entertainers are the most highly paid people across platforms, be acting, sports, or otherwise. I think I worded it poorly. I didn't mean to imply that our athletes were pampered, just single minded in a lot of cases. I believe so because when you have that status, you're living in this bubble. How truly aware are you of the stuff that's happening in the country, in the community, in the world? It's not like the president who gets like, or maybe not the president, but yeah, I would imagine the president does. But, anyways, people in leadership positions who get like folders upon folders of just information, finding out what's happening, you have to stay on the loop about a lot of things. So, when it comes to athletics, I can admire people's physical abilities and whatnot because there's a lot of stuff that I wish I could do. For instance, gymnastics. I know I have the genetics for it, but I did not practice it at all when I was young, so my time is pretty much gone for that. So when I see those folks, because I love that sport, I can admire them and I'm like, okay, cool. You have really worked on your body and we can see it. You can do amazing things. Great. But but after that it's like cool, we get it. The human body can do awesome things. It can be celebrated, but to constantly just worship that stuff, those ain't my values. So I'm guessing what's getting in my way of being, what can I say, reasonable about this is the fact that I don't value sports. Like, it's great to see that there's people out there with discipline to work on their bodies and accomplish so many things on whatever sport they specialize in. But at the end of the day, those aren't my values. I would value someone who stays fit, but you don't have to be a pro athlete for that. We all work hard one way or another. Why do I have to specifically worship the pros? the ones who are in magazine covers, the ones who everyone recognizes and knows their names? What about the accomplishments of other unsung people? See what I mean? So I don't know. It just takes a lot to impress me. So maybe my personal perception of those things is what makes me not get it. I'm just overly simple. And I admit it. In some instances, it's an advantage. In other instances, it's a disadvantage because I just cannot see things unless I'm told. But whatever. Whatever. It's just a game. It's just a game. Uh, which I think you would have to get which I think you would have to be to get to that level. I can agree there. That dedication takes a pretty wild mindset. As for the money, they get paid that amount because they draw that amount, supply and demand. Whether you agree or not, the people who own the contracts rake in far more than the athletes. Yes, just like with music. You ever hear musicians say, oh, yeah, when you buy an album, I only get like $2 from that, and the rest goes to like the disc, the people who like, what is it? Pretty much the people who promote it and package the stuff, I guess, and record and distribute the distributor. That's the word I was looking for. The artist, if you buy a song or something, they only get like a few cents, which makes sense. A song is usually a dollar, dollar 30 in the iTunes store at least. But yeah, when you hear artists selling all those millions, it doesn't mean that all those millions is something they get to pocket. They gotta make money of brand deals and other stuff, But it's easy because you're already getting attention, you're already being promoted, you have an audience. But yeah, it's really, when it comes to people making their money when they're on a pro setting, it's all about the promotion that you make. Because if people were not watching Serena play anymore, she would not be reigning tennis right now, on the female level at least. Maybe she is at the top of tennis in general, but I don't know. I just don't care complaining about something. Well, not complaining, just ranting because why not? Or rambling. Where did I end? I made that amount of money for someone else, I would want to share it too, in all fairness. Correct, there aren't a lot of rich women athletes simply because of the lack of attendance. If you drew in 30,000 people to a single game, I would be okay with you getting paid accordingly. You shouldn't idolize anyone's there are things you can take away from athletes, but no one is perfect. Yeah, exactly. Like, I wouldn't idolize anyone. Like, honestly, I don't idolize anyone. There's people who I can admire. Like, I'm not going to deny it. There's insanely talented people out there that I'm glad we get to see what they can do. But at the end of the day, my values do not lie there. Anyways. Well, guys, that concludes my opinion, my rambling, venting, whatever you want to call it. I can't wait to see what other folks have to say about this because I thought it was interesting. It seemed like when it was trending on Twitter, there were some people with very differing opinions, and I'm like, okay, what is really going on? There's more to it than what meets the eye, so I just thought that I would bring the topic officially to the channel and see where you guys are coming from with it. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to bail now, but I'll see you soon.